All right. Well, I'm here with Mr. Randall Brock. My name is Sutton Grigsby, and I am a President's Leadership Class student here at Connors State College. I'm a sophomore, and I plan on transferring to Oklahoma State University in the pre-vet program. I'm proud to be on the rodeo team here, and I've loved my opportunities here at Connors State. Today, we will be interviewing Mr. Randall Brock. Randall, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What year did you graduate Connors, and what was your major?
Once again, I am Randall Brock, and I'll thank you for having me today. I attended Connors in the fall of 1984, and graduated in May of 1986 with a degree in journalism. So I enjoyed my time here, met a lot of wonderful people.
Oh, that's very awesome. That's very interesting. Let's share a little bit about your journey since you graduated Connors State College. I see you got a Corvette racing shirt on.
I do. I'm in the automobile business, which has nothing to do with my degree.
Mm-hmm.
I've been an employee for General Motors for approximately 38 years.
Wow.
21 in Salsa, Oklahoma. I cut my teeth in Northwest Arkansas at a Cadillac store. So I'm in the automobile industry. So I currently employed at Blue Ribbon Auto Group in Salsa, Oklahoma, and we feature 7 brands to choose from.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting. So are you in more of the sales or?
I started out in sales. I started out as internet sales manager, and about a year and a half ago, I was promoted to upper management, and so now I oversee all of our operations, from sales to service to parts. So a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely. Seems like a very, very cool job.
It is. It is. Meet a lot of people. A lot of people that I really have deep relations with, because we all have to drive something, and whether they driving something new or pre-owned, if something happens, I just want them to know that we're always there for them.
Right.
If they want to trade, or they may have a child that want to add a vehicle or what have you. So it's a good business to be in.
Absolutely.
And I get very close to the people that I do business with.
Mm-hmm.
If something happens in their families, I'm usually trying to be there for them.
Absolutely. What are some of the things here at Connors State College that you might not have seen it then while you were in college, but prepared you for your job that you're doing now?
Well, obviously, back in the mid-'80s, there was no such thing as social media or cell phones. Of course, I was an athlete in high school and I had an opportunity to play here, but I decided I wanted to write the paper. So I worked for Donna Hales, and she was employed at the Muskogee Phoenix, and I wrote the Connors Collegian. So it was kind of cool to interview such coaches that went on and to become legends, like Money Madewell and his assistant, the late great Bill Martin, and then the late Ed Stepp. So that was really a cool part of the being in the journalism and stuff like that. So that, I think I honed my skills in broadcasting, which actually prepared me for the automobile business, because you really have to be a good talker to be successful. Absolutely. And when I become a salesperson, I just took it by storm. I started doing 20 cars a month selling. Then I started selling 30, then 40, and set record 50. It's never been done in the history of anyone. But if you have the gift of gab, if people like you, they'll do business with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any businesses can be a people business.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's what the automobile business is. It's people business, because a lot of times if someone goes to dealership, they don't want to talk to the salesperson because they can come off as pushy, high pressure. You just got to be laid back and just take it one step at a time. Be a great listener. Ask people for the business. Mm-hmm. Just don't try to just say, hey, would you do this or would you do that? Yeah. You can't do that.
You got to see what they're looking for.
That's exactly right.
Everyone's looking for something a little different.
That's exactly right. And just be a great listener and listen to that potential customer on what his or her or their needs are seeking, and just let it, nature take its course. It'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. I bet it was pretty interesting being able to write the school paper.
That was really nice. I remember interviewing some of the stars of that team, and we were very fortunate and blessed last year to have the 1985 championship team to come up here for a reunion, and I still stay in contact with a lot of those girls on that team, and they live geographically all over the United States, Minnesota, the Maryland, D.C. area, Texas, and one of the stars still live overseas. That was very interesting. What a wonderful team. I'll never forget what Michelle Gordon once told me. She was out of John C. Marshall out of Oklahoma City. She says, "We're going to bust the clock." I says, "What do you mean by bust the clock?" "We're going to score 100 points. And you know what? They went out and done that.
Wow. So your job as the journalist, did you have any other people helping you with that paper, or was it really like your job, you're the only person?
I was the only one. My instructor, Miss Hell, Donna Hell, she would proofread everything before we put it into print. And so I was pretty much on my own, but it was just something that become by nature and everything. So I really never had any issues or problems in that area.
Did you post one every week? Was it a weekly, monthly paper?
Yeah, it was a back then it was a weekly publication, and there was 2 games per week, kind of like they play now. They play on Mondays and Thursdays. Back then there was some Saturday games, and so I would go in and have the box score and everything, but I would usually interview the coach or some of their players after each game.
Right. Very cool. Very interesting. And you didn't just write about basketball. You had to write about some of the other things that were at school.
I did. And obviously there's a lot more sports today than what there were back then. I done some interviewed the baseball coach, and that was before Perry Keith came. Perry Keith was on his way in when I was here. And but since I played baseball in high school, so I was very familiar with that as well. Now, football was no longer a sport here at the college at that time. They basically just had baseball and basketball. So that was pretty much it. No soccer, nothing else. I mean,
Yeah. Well, very cool. Do you have any funny stories or instances from staying here at the college? Any stories?
I do. And a young man out of Fort Smith, my hometown of Fort Smith, Arkansas, where I was born. He was a sophomore, and I was a freshman. I met a young man named Wayne Eastling, who has went on in life and become very successful. He when he left here, he went to University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, went to work for Walmart when the Sam Walton was still living. Sam Walton hired him, and Wayne has went on ahead and has Mother Goose Cookies and a bunch of other different companies now. Wow. Lives in Florida, has a home in Minnesota. But this is a guy that I would set up in a dorm room, and we would talk to 4:30 in the morning, knowing we had to be in class the next day. We would exchange stories. Wow. And they were eating pastries because my weekend job was at Shipley Baking Company, Wholesome Bread. And I would furnish the whole dorm full of pastries.
Is that still there in Fort Smith?
It's an iconic, they don't bake bread there anymore. It's a venue for just hosting wedding events and all types of other stuff, right across from the National Cemetery there at 16 Garland.
This is a funny instance, but I drove by that this morning.
Is that right?
I did.
Wow.
Absolutely did.
Wow.
And I saw it was the first time I'd been down that street, and I saw that bakery there.
Yeah.
And like it's a pretty place.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And I saw the cemetery.
Yeah, the National Cemetery where a lot of our soldiers are interred there. Absolutely, and our loved ones. But no, I worked there 10 years, and I started in sales and route sales. But as a kid out of high school and going to college, I would work on the weekends. And at that time, I was one of the very few people that had a brand new car here on campus.
I imagine.
Yeah. So, and that's how I was able to get my own dorm room by myself because I could afford it, Right. So I was a little spoiled. So, it's okay.
What car did you have?
A 1986 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra SL.
Oh.
So I bought it. The first car I had, it was a 1984 Oldsmobile Tornado. But when before I left this campus, I had a brand new car.
Just from saving up?
Saving up. Yep. I can tell you, back then we financed it for my dad co-signed for me. I didn't know what credit was. And, they didn't know nothing about credit scores. But my payment was $321.32 at Citizens Bank. Financed it for 36 months. You know what? I paid it off in 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must have been a hard worker on the weekend.
I was a very hard worker. Yeah. When I would get done with college on Friday, I would go work Friday night and I would work a double on Saturday. So I had 36 hours plus every week there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was awesome.
That's like what, an hour drive back to Fort Smith?
That's correct. Back then when the speed limit.
Hop right on.
Yeah, back then the speed, way before you were born, the speed limit was 55 miles an hour.
Ooh.
So it was an hour from Warner. It was an hour from Warner to Muskogee. That is correct.
Wow.
Or Warner to Fort Smith. I'm sorry. Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Who is your best friend on campus? Was it the guy that you just said?
My best friend on campus. Here's the thing. When I was writing the paper, I became really close to a lot of those guys that played basketball, and I would take them home with me on the weekends, especially out of the season, because these guys were from Memphis, Virginia, Texas, and but my best friend at that time was Lynn Smith. Lynn was a grade ahead of me, was a good ball player from Memphis, and Lenny and I still stay in touch this very day. But I would take him, I would take Anthony Clark home, Kerry Balls, who's an ordained minister that lives in Kansas now. He was from Auburn, Alabama. That was the guys. And, of course, the girls was, Michelle Gordon that played on the team. Golly, it's all kind of running together. But I had so many. But, my mother had one rule at the time. She said, son, you can bring them home. But you guys can go shoot pool and go to the bowling alley, whatever you guys want to do. Everybody's getting up going to Sunday school and church on Sunday morning. That's how my mother rolled, So,
absolutely.
And then lots of times they had practice, I would bring them back on campus on Sunday evening, So.
Very interesting. Well, cool deal.
But to answer your question, Lynn Smith was my best friend at that particular time.
Good deal.
And he went on and played the Division I basketball, and he's had a stellar coaching career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you did while you were here during the week for fun?
Well, other than just, studying and everything and just making a grade, probably the most fun thing, again, was just writing the paper. Or maybe going up to the Cowboy Corner, the Curl Girl Corner, or eating in the student union, shooting pool.
Right.
That was my best thing. I was probably, and not to sound conceited, but I was probably one of the best pool players on the campus. We would have 8 and 9 ball tournaments. Oh, wow. And the prize money back then was $20, which was a lot of money back then because, most minimum wage jobs was about $3.35 an hour. But, when I worked at the bakery, I was making $6.67 an hour, and then I got to $8.35, which was pretty good money back then. You're talking about 40 years ago. But to answer your question, I love shooting pool. Had my own stick, which a lot of people couldn't afford to have their own stick. I had like 3 of them in a case. And I would shoot pool at the student union, and then just giving back to a lot of the kids that was a little less privileged from some of their poverty-stricken areas and stuff, and I would buy them a burger at the student union and fries and stuff. And back then, you could get a burger and fries for $3 or $4 with a drink, So I've always had a heart of gold.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's outstanding to hear.
Yeah.
But we still like to play pool over there in the student union, me and my rodeo buddies.
Wow.
Over there and hang out. That's definitely something we like.
Well, maybe we can get together and shoot sometime.
Yeah, you probably.
I still got a pretty cold stick.
You probably whoop us. We're not very good.
Oh, man.
Very cool. How did you envision your future while you were at Connors State College, and is it different or about the same?
When I was here, and I came to Connors because my sister, Kathy, who lives in Tulsa, she's an educator, she had came here on scholarship and played for Coach Madewell. It was close to home. My colors didn't change from high school, orange and black. So I was attracted to that. That was very appealing. And, and again, like I said earlier in the conversation, it was only an hour drive from home. So That's the reason why I came here, and everything like that.
Very cool. You said so you grew up in Sallisaw?
No, I grew up in Roland.
Oh, okay.
I work in Sallisaw. I grew up in Roland, Oklahoma. I was born in Fort Smith, Arkansas,
Okay.
which is Fort Smith and Roland's about 4 miles.
Okay. Very good. Very good. What are some life lessons that you learned from Connors, or just going forward for the college kids listening to this? Or anyone
Well,
else?
the life lessons is, just because it's a smaller college, don't think that you have to go to the big city to be successful. There's a lot of folks that's come through these, as I call them, iconic doors. And ever since I've been the alumni board president, I like to use that terminology because to me they are iconic doors. I look at Wayne Easterling, who's become a very successful entrepreneur, invested in Walmart stock when it split. This guy that I used to stay up in the dorm with at 4:30 is a multimillionaire. I look at Lynn Smith, who's my best friend, who has went on overseas and become a very good coach and had many stops. I look at Kerry Miles, who's become a very well-known ordained minister. I look at Wendy Sanders, who lives in Belgium, who played for Coach Madewell. I look at Chappelle Charles, who's an RN who we want to put in the Hall of Fame. There's so many. It starts here. It can start here.
Absolutely.
And you can be successful, and you can make a good living, or you can be successful entrepreneur yourself. So it can be done.
Absolutely. Yeah, my decision on coming here was a lot based on like the price, but also the opportunity to have a closer connection with people and the professors.
Yes.
And knowing who I am right now because of Connors State College versus if I had just gone straight to Oklahoma State, I'm much, much happier with who I am now because of so many opportunities.
Exactly. Connors
They just
prepares
present-
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
they present themselves.
Right.
It's outstanding.
Well, I think Connors prepares you for taking that next step to an Oklahoma State, or maybe to an Oklahoma, or maybe to the University of Arkansas. It prepares you, especially if you come out of a small town, or especially in a rural area. You're like, okay, this is a stepping stone,
Right.
and what a wonderful stepping stone it is. This college has survived when others haven't. I mean, we see like athletic programs folded at Carl Albert and Bacone and St. Gregory's, way back in the old Bi-State East Conference. Connors State is still here and going strong. And I'm just blessed to be a part of this. I try to give back. I try to do everything and everything that my schedule allow me to be involved in. I like to be involved in.
Right.
It's a hands-on college.
What are some of the steps that led you up to being the alumni president?
Bruce Shropshire, the president before me, and some of the other board members just thought it was time. I mean, they thought it was time for me to be in that position because I guess they seen something in me that, as a leader, a guy that's not afraid to speak in public,
It's very important.
to go to events, to support the kids, and just like the group that played last year, the men and women, I became very close to that group that played basketball. Both of them went to the Nationals. I established wonderful relationships. About a half a dozen of them I still stay in contact with on a regular basis. They'll text me. There's been a few of them that needed help financially. I've been very fortunate and blessed. I've been able to help them. I mean, you know what it's like when you're in college.
Absolutely.
You might need 100 here. You might need 100 there.
Yeah.
Don't go a long ways, but hey, maybe buy a little bit of loaf of bread and some bologna or something and cheese, So I'm just very fortunate. I wanted to be a different kind of president. Nothing against the other guys. I just want to be that guy at that game, or if something happens in somebody's family, I try to be there, or send a card or whatever. I just want to do things a little different. And that's what I had told the college president. And he and I had a meeting at the president's mansion last year, and before I had to fly to Indianapolis on an automobile meeting, and and he liked the direction that I was taking things, and I said, hey, whatever the college needs of me, I'm going to try to do my best to govern myself accordingly, to be one of those hands-on guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Very good. And just to wrap it up here, what's some more words of wisdom for just current students and maybe future students?
Current students and future students, hey, if you're already enrolled here, stay with it. There's going to be peaks and valleys. There's going to be days, that you may ask yourself, well, why come I didn't do this, or why come I didn't go there? It's going to be okay after a while. A Baptist minister one time told me, son, it's going to be all right after a while. I believe that. And for the future students, you really should come to Connors State. Mm-hmm. Again, they got everything here, wonderful college president, you got professors, you got other administrators that's going to help you.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be just cast out there like in a big university. Everybody kind of know everybody here. It's small. It's family. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of programs here. A lot of youngsters says, you like to use that word, bored. I'm bored. You're not going to get bored here. There's really lots of things to do here. Mm-hmm. And I'm just amazed. I wish that they had all the amenities here now that you all have here now that 40 years ago when I was here. Mm-hmm. I came here 41 years ago. We didn't have it. Like I said, we didn't have Wi-Fi. We didn't have all that fancy technology. Mm-hmm. We had a pool table. There were no flat screen TVs. It wasn't any of that stuff. So it's changed a lot. So a small university here, small college, State College, it's one of the best state colleges in the whole state. Mm-hmm. So, and again, you're under wonderful leadership. Dr. Raming is one of the best. I love the late, great Mr. Westbrook, Dr. Westbrook, when he was here. That was my president when I was here. But Dr. Raming, you guys got a wonderful leader.
Absolutely.
You're very blessed to have him.
Mm-hmm. He does an outstanding job.
Absolutely. And, and like I said, I've got good relationships with him, got excellent relationships with Jake Lawson. Jake's always knows what's going on here and there. So you guys have wonderful leaders,
Absolutely.
And look how long Coach Muse has been here. He's an icon, man. Yeah. He's a legend. So, hey, they've stayed here a long time. Something's they like something about this. Oh, Perry Keefe's a legend. Mm-hmm. Perry was coming in when I first started here, so there you go. And he succeeded a good baseball coach. Mm-hmm. And look at that. A baseball coach stayed at one institution for 40 years? Man, that's unheard of. Coach Moose has been here over 30 years. Yeah. So
must be doing something right here.
Absolutely. It's kind of like the old KFC commercial.
Been successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So no, I encourage people just on that alone. Students should say, look, if that coach is here you got a baseball coach here been over 40 years, and a basketball coach been here over 30 years, that's over 70 years combined. Why would you not want to come here? Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. My children are grown. I have grandchildren. Don't think that their papa's not going to be in there and says, hey, now you need to look at that right there. Mm-hmm. You want to follow your papa's footsteps. Don't mean you got to go out and sell cars or be in the car business. Mm-hmm. But, hey, there's other things. There's been a lot of RN degrees come through here. Mm-hmm. A lot of people in agriculture.
Absolutely.
Hey, future farmers of America.
Mm-hmm.
That's
how I found out about Connors.
Yeah. They bar none have one of the best nursing and agriculture programs in the state. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot. Like I said, one of my best friends who we hope to put in the Hall of Fame, she's an RN. It started right here. She went to Oklahoma State. You know what? She's an RN over at the VA. It's not easy being an RN at a VA because you got a lot of people that has been on those front lines for us. and they have fought and bled and shed tears. People just limbless, blind.
Right.
And it's not easy being an RN taking care of those kind of people. I mean, but she doesn't complain. She just gets up and drives from Eufaula and go to Muskogee every day and do it.
That's what we need.
That's exactly what we need.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Well, do you have any questions for me or for Dr. Palmer back there?
I don't. I'm a talker. I'm a journalism major. I hope I hadn't talked too long right here.
Not at all. We really appreciate it, sir.
I appreciate you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so very much.
Thank you.